Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to the show, y'all. Look, let me give you a quick recap. You know what I'm saying? I was giving you the rundown about inmate Sinister and how he was manipulating and lying and doing all these different types of things. And I posed the question to you. I want you to ask yourself, have you ever been in a situation where you lied to somebody and then when it did come out that you lied, did you go back and apologize? Did you do that? And I'm going to get to the point of the story why that's important, but I need you to keep listening, okay? I need you to keep listening. But let me get back to it, all right? I was with some of the guys, and the guys were asking me, you know what I'm saying, what I thought about what inmate Sinister was doing. Because they were happy that he was about to put the business in on Officer Naive. And I said to them simply this: what he's doing is not an honorable thing. Is it technically the right thing to do? Absolutely. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. All of that. I believe in that. Don't get it twisted. But he's not a hero here. He shouldn't be applauded and patted on his back. See, for me, I needed to know what he was doing this for. What was his motivation to come clean? Was his motivation to come clean because he knew that if he didn't come clean, it was going to be bad for him? Or was his motivation for coming clean something more sinister and deep? You understand? See, when situations like this go down, especially when I was involved in situations like this, I do what you call, I play game theory, right? And game theory is when you start to calculate all the different responses and avenues of what could happen, what, you know what I'm saying, based on the information was there. So when I started to play it out, I'm thinking about him and I'm thinking about his reasoning, his logic, and the word that came to me, because back in the day when I was in rotation, I always had somebody coming back to me and telling me what was really going on, right? You know what I'm saying? A little tidbit here, tidbit there. Sometimes they lied, sometimes they didn't, but they would always come back and tell me something, right? So in this situation, the brother came back and he told me, he said, look, he said he's mad that he's being thrown under the bus. I said, okay. So that's why he's doing this. And the brother was like, yeah. I said, okay. And I didn't really say to him whether I was in agreement with it or not. I said, I understand. But I was pondering. He's mad that he got caught. See, is he ashamed of what he did? Or is he ashamed that, or is he upset that he got caught? The evidence is pointing that he was upset that he got caught, y'all. That he got caught. So the hearing is going down. He's giving it up. He's saying all of the things that we had suspected of him the whole 2 years. He's laying it out that he knew every single time that we spent money that the prices were being inflated. He knew. He knew. He knew. And I'm saying to myself, wow. When the information leaked out, because it leaked out. Now they're upset. Oh my goodness, listen to them. They're upset. Because you got inmate Sinister telling that Officer Naive not so naive. So what did Officer Naive benefit? Real talk, what did Officer Naive benefit? And what role did Officer Naive play in inmate Sinister's manipulation? I'm going to break that down for you. See, Officer Naive was able to eat. Right? And I know a lot of y'all think, oh, it ain't food. That Officer Naive can go buy him some food on the town. Right? But see, we don't know what's going on in somebody's house. We don't know what motivates a person to do what they do. We don't. But it's always something that motivates you to do what you do if you think about it. Listen to me now. With the right motivation, you'll do what you do. If you get hungry enough, don't tell me you won't do whatever you have to do to eat. If your child gets hungry enough, don't tell me that you won't do whatever you have to do to eat. But see, what we want to do, the lesson that we want to pass on to people is we want to stay within the guidelines of the law, and we want to do mainly what's morally right to do. What's morally right to do. But see, let me show you something about inmate Sinister. See, inmate Sinister, some way, shape, or form, saw a crack in inmate Naive's armor. Right? He saw an opening. And he saw an opportunity to manipulate. How How is that possible? You got this person in this position of authority that gets all of this training, knows all of these different techniques and tactics that inmates deploy when you're trying to get somebody to compromise their principles and compromise their oath, because they take an oath to uphold the law. How could something like this happen? Because you can have a cordial relationship with an inmate. It's professional. Stay professional and you don't cross the line, right? So how does this happen? Make it personal. Make it personal. See, we all have our moments. We all have our moments. But see, they're trained not to do that. They're trained not to do that. What made him special? Don't know. Don't know. That's what most people say. But it's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out at all. What made him special? He either reminded Officer Naive of somebody that he knew. He either knew him prior to, or he had gotten to know him in a way that he thought that he could trust him. And that could involve a whole lot of things. Money, drugs, sex, whatever. Oh yeah, I said it. I said it. Don't know what it was though. But now, inmate Sinister's laying it out. Everything that needs to be told about the situation to put Officer Naive in jeopardy of his job has been told. Now they make a decision. What did this benefit inmate Sinister? They reduced the charges. They told him that they appreciated what he had done. It took a lot of courage to say that, because you got to remember, in this environment, you know what I'm saying, talking against anybody can be something that's threatening to your life. It doesn't matter to some people whether you said something about an officer or an inmate. You said something. So they appreciated that. And they reduced the charges down in a way to where it wouldn't harm him as much, right? So he would be able to stay at that institution that he was at where he would be safe. But would he be safe? Physically, yeah, pretty sure. Mentally, who knows? Because the anxiety of the situation is going to weigh on him. And I'm going to get to that and how that plays into it, okay? But here's the thing. Now, Officer Naive gets pulled in. They want to ask Officer Naive some questions. Why did you do this? What went on? Why him? All of these different types of questions were asked. Officer Naive stays pat. He sticks to his guns. He didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't know what inmate Sinister is talking about. Now we know that's a lie. Every inmate on the compound knew that was a lie. You feel what I'm saying? But I understand. And everybody else understood why Officer Naive stuck to the story. Everybody did. And now, look, this is what's weird about this. Officer Naive, in some twisted way, became, to the compound, the victim. Because it was like, man, he should have stuck to the code and not told it. He got caught up. But then he would say, wait a minute, Officer Naive threw him under the bus. You feel what I'm saying? But see, here's the thing with some stuff like that. When something like that goes down, somebody got to decide they're going to wear it. Neither one of these individuals wanted to wear it because both of them had something to lose. So think about that, y'all out there that wants to live this lifestyle. Right now, you don't see that you have anything to lose. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you saw that you had something to lose and you still decided to do it, then something's wrong with you. But if you calculate that you have something to lose, that should make you not want to do this and not want to live this life. And that's what blinds a lot of people. See, they went into this thing not realizing, not thinking about what it was they would lose if it doesn't go right, if they got caught, if something happened, if anything happened. It doesn't matter if nobody knows when you started, right? Over time, things leak out. Things look suspicious. People start questioning. They stir the pot. And the more they stir the pot, the fumes come up. Somebody gets a scent of the aroma. Wait a minute, something ain't right here. Smells like a cover-up. Smells like somebody's doing something wrong. And the next thing you know, word gets to the right people, somebody gets locked down, and then the whole house falls. And that's what happened here. But see, when it failed, nobody wanted to be responsible for the house falling. So they both start pointing at each other. Now, in this system, who's the bigger fish? Is it the inmate or is it the officer? The system sees the officer naive, as a bigger threat than they see inmate Sinister. Why is that? Well, let me explain that to you. Officer naive has the keys to the door. What do I mean? Officer naive gets to come and go. Inmate Sinister don't get to go to Walmart. Inmate Sinister don't get to walk around unless the warden says you can walk around. You understand? So if you have an officer that's been compromised, that's way more serious than an inmate that's trying to compromise. You understand? Because that officer has been trained to rebuff that. That officer has been trained to turn the inmate in. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't Officer Naive do that? We don't know. We don't know, but let's get to it, right? Let's get to it. So here's what happens. Now, Officer Naive is the sympathetic figure on the compound because they're looking at it like, man, ain't nothing right about this. You go, listen to me. This is weird because I had these thoughts in my mind too. I want to be honest about it, right? At first, when inmate Sinister went to the hall, I'm like, man, that's messed up. You feel what I'm saying? That's messed up that Officer Naive would do that. And then when inmate Sinister flipped on Officer Naive, I was like, man, he shouldn't have did that. Why did he tell on him? He shouldn't have did that. It's like all of us, the whole compound, we flipping back and forth. Who do we support? What's really going on, right? Because it's hard to support somebody that is being told on. I mean, it's hard to support somebody that's doing the telling. Let me correct that, right? We've been conditioned not to do that. Even though we're on the opposite side, you would think everybody in blue would have stood on the side of inmate Sinister. But there's something that you're missing if you think that, and I'm finna tell you what that is. The reason that a lot of people started to see Officer Naive as the sympathetic victim in this situation is because this. Inmate Sinister looked everybody in their eyes over the years and told them that everything was fair. Everything, the prices were right. Everything is being done right. He was manipulating and using and lying to people the whole time. So when the cards failed and the house failed, it was like, man, this dude can't be trusted. This dude can't be trusted. But the question becomes, why didn't we look at Officer Naive as somebody that couldn't be trusted? Officer Naive is the police. What we did was, psychologically, we gave Officer Naive the benefit of the doubt because Officer Naive, that's Officer Naive's jobs. That's his job to do that. But that's not the role that, or the part that inmate Sinister is supposed to play. In this world, in this environment, everybody has a very distinct role to play. And if you don't play the role that you're set up to play, people flip on you. People flip on you. So I had to check myself because I don't want to see nobody suffer. But everybody has to be held accountable for what they do. Everybody. Whether it's immediate or down the line. So time played out. The situation is playing itself out. And, well, let's get to it. Inmate Sinister gets out of the hole. He can't live in the same unit that he was living in because he has a write-up. So he's in the jungle again, starting all over. See, when you get put in an incentive unit, it's because you behave. When you get a write-up, you go back to the beginning where everybody is getting in trouble and all this and that, a lot of everybody getting high, doing all kinds of things. And that environment feels foreign to you, especially if you've been out of that environment. Even though you're on the same compound in the same prison, you've been out of that environment for years. So he felt uncomfortable. Now he's around people that get down. He's around people that don't see the code the way he sees it. He's around people that look at him, you know what I'm saying, cross-eyed, knowing that he can't be trusted. When he walks in the room, the whispering stops. When he walks out, they start whispering and laughing, and then you'll hear somebody under their breath say, police. But he walks on because he knows he's outnumbered. He's in the jungle. He's in the jungle. He's a gazelle surrounded by lions and hyenas. And they're just waiting on the right time to strike. They're waiting on the right time to strike. And he knows it. So he tries to figure out what to do. And he goes back to his modus operandi, how he gets down. It's about manipulation. It's about manipulation. So he tells everybody, especially his new cellie, Officer Naive lied on me. He said all these different types of things. He's on the campaign to convince one person at a time that he can be trusted. That he part of that cloth that don't play with the police. We was getting money. We was doing this. We was eating good. And then when it got thick, he got scared and told on me. So it don't take much. Listen to me, y'all. It don't take much to convince another inmate of your story, especially when you feed them. See, he at the same time he telling his story, he breaking bread. He made some burritos, got a potato chip, got the nice old cold drink, you know what I'm saying, with the soda pop, pull it straight out the cooler, right, with the sweat rolling down the side of it. When you hit that thing, go like that there, and you take your nice old gup of it after you done ate that burrito, and them chips, it tastes so good, and it's burning going down, and he's telling the story the whole time while you're eating, right? You want to get somebody to believe what you're saying, feed them first. And they'll at least pretend to agree with you until the meal's over. So while his cellar's eating his meal, he's like, man, that's messed up, that's messed up. But as soon as he finished, he started asking the hard questions. He said, but why did you do what you did? So inmate Sinister told him, he said, man, if I don't do what I did, I'm the one that's going down. But his cellar said, but that's the rules of the game. It's the rules of the game. You live by the code, you die by the code. It don't matter what the other person do. So now he's looking at his cellar like, okay, this ain't work out the way that I thought it was supposed to work out. So he said, man, you don't understand. Officer Naive, man, set me up. He amps it up. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. They already had all the information anyway. They just called me in there telling me this, telling me that, and they let me know on their own that they know I didn't do it. I'm not the target. I'm not the target, he kept telling them. I'm not the target. He's not thinking that his cellar catching him. So he said, well, what did you do to help them get Officer Naive? He said, man, all I did was answer a few questions, and they put the puzzle together. But what were those questions that you answered? He paused for a minute. He looked at his cellar. He said, man, I can't trust you like that. I don't know. He said, man, let me tell you something. If you don't start talking, you're going to have to start walking. He looked at him. He gave him that old penitentiary look, because penitentiary rules in effect, y'all. He gave him that penitentiary look, letting him know, man, I'm not going to live with no snitch. Whether you telling on the police or somebody else, I'm not going to live with no snitch. So inmate Sinister said, man, I'll holler at you tomorrow, man. And he laid down, turned his lamp off, put his earbuds in, and the whole time he got his eyes on his celly, and he laid down. And he waited until his celly fell asleep before he fell asleep. But he didn't have a good night that night. And if you want to know how things worked out for him the next day, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.